Radio Hereford FC, the only station with full match commentaries of the Bulls. Every game, every week.
Hello and welcome again to We're Going Down the Pub, this time a player profile edition of our podcast with Mr. Simon Wright, and we're looking at a lone player.
Yeah, a few of those. Tyrone Duffus.
Okay.
That's how we're going to pronounce it, because that's what we think it is.
Right.
Rather than Duffus, which is something very unflattering in America.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not good. We don't want to go there today.
All right.
It says, it says much for our club and Beads that we never sign defensive midfielders. Every midfielder we get is an attacking midfielder. You know, we can't be doing with this 4 across the back and 6 in front of them routine. We go forward, you know. Although, I suppose you've got to say, Tyrone's an academy player, so he can play in a variety of positions.
As we've seen from our other academy players that have come in this.
Yeah, I mean, but he's supposedly most happy charging forward, you know. As Bede said in one of his post-match chats, he's a big strong boy who likes to tackle, to win headers and get forward, so he's certainly going to add something to our group.
Yeah, but he said that about every single player he's ever signed.
The sort of sounded vaguely familiar.
He will add something to the group. Right. Yes, Bees, he will. He adds another name to the group. We know that.
Oh,
right.
Dear. Well, perhaps he doesn't know much about him.
But he's with us till January the 1st.
Yes. Yeah. Now, he's another South Wales player. Right. I mean, Green is going to be needing a minibus soon with all these people he's transporting from this part of the world, you know. Maybe we should change our name to Hereford and South Wales FC.
Yeah, it wouldn't go down well, would it? Yeah.
No, it probably wouldn't, would it? Okay.
But he is a full-time paid professional footballer. That's 2 of them we got now.
As I presume he has been since he was 16.
Yeah.
So he's going to be physically fit, there's no doubt about that, if not used to matches against real men, you know?
Well, hang on a sec.
You know what I mean.
We are talking about Southern Premier here.
Yeah,
he may still not get matches against real men. Anyway.
Hereford's going to be a bit of a culture shock. Well, with the subliminal message for him and any other player, Frank, sadly, comes to us that if you don't give 100% and get noticed by your manager, this is where you can end up permanently. Yeah. Now, that's not something we like to hear, but that's the reality for these players who are coming to us, you know. I mean, 99%, I've said this before, 99% of academy players are out of the pro game by the time they're 21.
And Tyrone?
Is 21 in 2 months' time.
Right, okay.
And there doesn't seem to be much.
2 months' time is when his loan spell expires.
Well, that's right.
So, in fact, this could be slightly more on the face of it than just a normal couple of months loan.
It's possible, but he is under contract until June, so he may have that option. But does appear to be a lot on his football CV for a 20-year-old. But let me share what I know about him, which actually isn't that much at all, but there you go.
Well, you could say that about almost anything, couldn't you?
Oh, well, look, you know, I've done well with some of them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tyrone's difficult. He barely bothers with social media. Now, he's got a Twitter feed with 7,000 followers, and he's posted once in 12 months.
Right. Okay.
So those 7,000 will be very disappointed.
Mind you, there's a reason for that.
Go on.
He was born in Cheltenham.
Yes.
Yes. Would you go on Twitter and say I was born in Cheltenham? You'd steer clear, wouldn't you, of social media? You'd want to hide.
Why didn't I think of that? There you go.
You did, because you've written it here. Tyrone was born in Cheltenham.
I didn't link it to the Twitter feed, but there you go.
Mixed parentage.
Yes, his mother's half Irish and his father's Jamaican. Interesting.
So, presumably then, he's qualified to play for about half a dozen different countries.
Yes, indeed, but we'll come on to that.
Right.
He's got at least one older brother, Courtney Duffus, and possibly another brother called Ashley, who's now a boxer.
How can you possibly have a brother? You either have or you haven't.
Well, put it this way, he's got the same name and he lives in Cheltenham, so...
Could be a cousin.
Could be.
Right. Yep. Okay, so if
both,
you're out there, Ashley, we want to know.
Yeah, we want to know, are you related? Are you a brother?
Yeah.
Both Tyrone and his brother Courtney were picked up by the Cheltenham Academy. Happily for us, a certain Peter Beadle was coaching there, having just moved over from West Brom's academy. And Cheltenham seemed quite resigned to developing teenagers for bigger clubs to take away.
What, like us?
Yes, bigger clubs like us, exactly, yeah. In fact, they list all the takeaways on their website as some kind of achievement, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's vaguely interesting.
What, Italians, Chinese,
Yeah,
Thai,
all of those, where they went as well. Now, Everton come calling in 2012, and they wanted both brothers, even though Tyrone was only 15 at the time.
Well, was that maybe they couldn't get one without the other?
It could be, perhaps that's what the parents said. So that was a bit of a pain for Everton because they had to sort out schooling, etc. And the parents had to traipse backwards and forwards to Merseyside until they were happy the arrangements were good, you know.
Yeah.
Now, in return, it's understood Everton paid £25,000 each compensation.
Really?
That's apparently it's not as much as Arsenal paid Cheltenham for 14-year-old Jamie Edge.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah. So there you go. But Town were happy enough. I mean, that's 50 grand. That presumably covered the wages for Beads and one of the other coaches for a whole year.
Absolutely, but we do know that Everton are not over brilliant at making terribly good choices, are they?
At the moment, they're not. You know, clubs like that just hoover up a dozen of them, and if they get one or two out of it,
was
they're
this in the
happy.
David Moyes era then? It must have been.
Yes, it was.
Right, okay.
Well, yeah, and the blurb was David Moyes spotted them. Well, I doubt very much David Moyes spotted them because I'm sure he's got better things to do than spend nights
Well,
at
if he was a
Cheltenham,
better day at the races, perhaps.
Well, yes, could be. Yeah, why don't I pop over and see Cheltenham youth
Right,
team?
okay, so the David Moyes joined the massive Everton Academy, right?
Yeah, I mean, that is a big one. Now, the coverage is always limited of academy players, but it is really, really limited for Tyrone. There's no video footage at all, which is slightly strange. Just mention of a couple of goals that he scored. That actually doesn't help anybody with that 99% failure rate. You know, players want video out so they can prove what they can do.
Yeah, like
Dara O'Shea.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's a centre half, and he's got his goals on out there. But you know, his brother was making far more.
And Rafael as well as video.
Yes, and Jamie Bird.
Show reel.
Yeah. And Jamie Bird as well. You know. Anyway, yeah, I mean, the Duffus boys, two stages of progress really. His brother. Courtney was really making more headlines, getting noticed. Meanwhile, Tyrone was long-term injured for virtually a whole season, which didn't help his cause. He was loaned out, but only for 1 month, to Skelmersdale United, who are a Step 3 side.
Right, yes.
And curiously, that Skelmersdale seems to be full of people called Duffus. But that's on the side. Now, he was only there for a month. In January, played a few games and come back. So I'm starting to think, what was happening to his career? You know, you would expect longer and more frequent loan players for young players like that. Both the Duffus brothers opted to play for the Republic of Ireland. They just said there are lots of choices. They decided to go to Ireland. Older brother Courtney, 3 caps for the Republic's under-21 side, and this summer he was sold to Oldham and he's in their first team.
Right, that was for a fee.
It was for a fee, so Cheltenham said thank very much, we've got a sell-on clause, we've got a bit of that. And by contrast, Tyrone's got no caps and was released on the free transfer by Everton.
Yeah, well that's typical, that's what happens to the academy, isn't it?
Yes,
really?
it is. Somebody tipped Cardiff off and they had Tyrone on trial over the summer. Including obviously a match at Edgar Street, and subsequently taking him on contract until June next year. He's in what they call a development squad. He plays under 23 games for the Bluebirds, but they generally their midweek afternoons in a big ground with one man and his dog. Basically, he's 20 years old. He needs more than that.
He does.
he needs more than he needs Hereford just as much as we need him.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Quite possibly. Yeah. And it'll be good to see how he fares with us in this initially short loan, but we'll see.
Assuming international clearance ever comes through.
Well, that's it, isn't it, really?
It's just weird, isn't it? He plays in an English league. He was born in England, and he wants to move to an English club and need international clearance.
But he plays for he's Cardiff, isn't he? He's at Cardiff City. It's all to do with player registrations.
But they play in England.
Well, Cardiff play in England, yes, they do, but they're a Welsh. The Welsh FA, isn't it? The international clearance.
Yeah,
silly is that?
Mutter, yeah. So there we go, that's a quick rundown.
Well, that's very interesting. Well, we'll put that out there to you, for you all to have a listen to, and we hope he makes a good impression at Edgar Street, and welcome to the gang. And we'll be back with you with our next Ground Guide podcast very shortly.
Very shortly.
This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls. Match Day Live.